Fantastic. Well, good evening, everyone. Tonight we have another billion-dollar guy here, Pavan Maddi. I've known him for a number of years, 15 plus, and he had a great start in real estate. And let's start first, Pavan, with tell us a little bit about your background. Why do I call you a billion-dollar real estate guy? And it's actually more than one.
Well, probably because of the institutional experience that I have, right? So I guess for people that don't know me, Greg knew me when I was still in entertainment, believe it or not. And the real estate career that I landed, it landed by, it was by chance, So one of my talents, his dad was working for a CPA firm and he needed somebody that was good with numbers. Us Indians are really good with numbers. I think it was like, well, to be honest, like, I remember when I was in 4th grade in India, we learned how to do algebra. You can't do algebra here until you're like in 9th or 10th grade, okay? So it was just natural. So yeah. I was like, cool. So I sent him my resume. He moved it up the ladder and basically I landed a job at a CPA firm that won the national contract for the U.S. Department of Housing, REO division. Basically, we managed all the contracts for them, all the financial elements from handling the foreclosure, paying off the bank, taking the property into our inventory, to actually going through the day-to-day and getting the property sold. So although we had contracts with what we call asset managers, back then it was Golden Feather, Pemco, there was a few other companies that were regional, right? So every asset manager had their region, and our job is to make sure we provided financial controls for them, So when you say that billion-dollar real estate, it's mainly because of that, right? So to be honest, I think it was over $250 billion that we managed. That's even before the financial crash. Okay? I mean, things popped up pretty good after that point.
Right.
But after that, I mean, I was flipping properties, and then I had a choice of either staying at HUD or leaving. And I can't remember, when you work for government agencies, there's a conflict of interest clause that you have to sign off on. That means you cannot have your own business that is in correlation with the government business, So reality is I have to make a choice, either be a passive investor, let somebody else handle my stuff, or be an active investor and walk away from the job. I decided to walk away from the job. It was great for a few years, and then the crash happened and it was not pretty. But you learn from it. Greg, you and I did some flips, we had fun. We also had issues. Remember that Banner property?
Yeah.
That was the first time I think you and I actually had a heated exchange.
Yeah.
It was interesting.
And that was we had our moments, but we made it through. We made money on it.
Yeah, we did. It's like a relationship. But in this case, it's a little bit easier because we use logic. My fiance and I'm pretty sure, I hope she's not on right now. If she is, I'm going to lose a fight all the time. And I'm pretty sure, Greg, you are losing the fight all the time.
Yeah.
I don't mind arguing with you because we could find a solution.
And you touch on a very, very important point, and that is, as long as you can work through the challenges, the relationship is going to be fine. Mm-hmm. And we just had to work through some things, and we stuck it through. And then that's critical in every single real estate deal. And
big time. But just to finish up on, I'll keep it short. That way we can move forward to. I know you have a whole bunch of questions. One thing led to another. I started. I'm a broker myself. It was just not enough for me. I needed to learn more. I went back to school. Got my graduate degree, my MBA at Georgetown, with real estate development and finance. My firm holds both brokerage and general construction license with a background in real estate development. And we literally now, after 20 plus years of being in the industry, we can pretty much touch any type of real estate transaction that I could think of. From an accounting side, from a finance side, from a marketing side, construction and design. So, and that's important in if you're going to be a successful real estate professional, because the more you have under your belt, the more cost effective you become and more valuable you become for investors. Right? You and I can agree to that, attest to that, right?
Absolutely.
So, you know, and I don't know if I told you, I just launched a new business.
Tell me more.
Yeah, it's called Real Estate Mechanics.
Okay.
So, Greg, I consider you a mechanic of a deal, you know, and I use that word broadly when I teach classes, right? Because you've seen some of my classes. I teach fix and flips, commercial classes. And I say the word mechanic because every single real estate deal, you should be able to understand the parts of it. You need to be able to break it apart and be able to put it back together and be able to articulate it in a very concise, short and concise manner. You know?
Yes.
If you can't do that, then you're not ready. You know,
right.
you're just not, you know.
You get surprised, and that's where things go bad.
Oh, big time. And remember Len?
Yes.
Len Eisenhower.
He financed our conversion, another conversion from our flip.
Yeah, a couple of them actually. He passed away, but he was this big shot lawyer out of Manhattan. He was one of the main partners for this firm called Goldenbach. Genius, by the way. You and I both know that. But you and I both knew that him as an attorney, if he spends just 5-10 minutes with us, he's already on board. He just wants to make sure that his money is going to be managed properly. One takeaway that I got from him: it's not the deal, it's the management. I don't care what the deal is, because investors get presented with deals day in, day out. What makes you different? What makes yours better than the next 10, 20 of them? You know, don't tell me it's the return I'm going to guarantee you. You can't guarantee anything. You know,
that is so true.
It's our skill sets that's going to guarantee that you're going to execute a plan accordingly. And if something pops up, that you'll be able to resolve it in a timely manner without issues. So, and I work off that philosophy now. When people talk to me, I have a lot of investors now, right? And I tell them, look, you can invest with anybody you want, but if you invest, my biggest thing is you should invest with me because you believe in my management skills, not because I'm bringing you a deal, and I always tell them, look, I'm not going to peddle deals. I'm not going to act as an agent. If I'm going to present a deal to you, I already vetted it. I already know I'm going to make money on it. I already know you're going to make money on it.
Yes.
And I'll even take my money on the back end to show you that I'm willing to risk my time and resources so it could be front loaded in your favor, But if I want to if I do well for you and the project does well, I want to get compensated more on the back end.
Yes.
Fair trade, performance.
Absolutely. That's the way it has to be done because your time is valuable.
Yeah, it is, and people always ask me, what is your time worth? I tell them $500 an hour. You can pay me up front or you can pay me on the back end. You tell me, if it's on the back end, I want 1,000. I'm exaggerating right there by the,
but those are actually good numbers.
Yeah, it is,
And if we can't make money in a deal, we shouldn't be financed.
Yeah, I agree. The last deal I think I made, I averaged about $1,150 an hour, based on my time that I allocate,
And what was the return the investor got?
The investors on that deal, they got 21+% on their money, so which is pretty good. And keep in mind, those are the type of returns high risk investments need to have. You know,
Yep.
True story. I get deals presented all the time, by the way. Wholesalers telling me that oh my God, this is a slam dunk. I can look at the numbers in 30 seconds, 45 seconds. I can say it's a piss poor deal.
I think we've talked about that. Here it's 83% of after repair value is what you're buying it for.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no margin in there. Oh, why would I do that?
Oh, especially on a flip, on a development, don't give me an ROI. Don't tell me I'm gonna make 20% ROI on my money, because you just took away the greatest element of developments, time value of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People don't understand. Time has cost. If you tell me that I'm gonna make 20%, it's gonna take 5 years, dude, I can make that on the street, and I don't even need to stress over it.
No risk.
No risk.
The investors know that too. They say, well, I can do a tax exempt government bond fund and get a guaranteed return with no risk for a few percent. And at 20% for 5 years, there's no reason to take the risk.
Yeah. And the tax exempt bond, you're not paying taxes. It's
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Actually, it's better than that 20% return.
So do you work off of an IRR, or
Yes.
how do you?
I work off IRRs. I do not work off, don't give me a cap rate. I don't care. Because your cap rate means null and void if the project is going to take 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. You have no control over what the market cap is going to be in the future.
No. I mean, not only that, on a development deal, I had a commercial lender that debated with me on social media once, right? I respect the guy, don't get me wrong, but all he does is commercial loans. And he was all like, well, if the cap rate is great, it should be good. I use Argus for my analysis. I'm like, well, I use Argus, but that doesn't mean anything. As a developer, we do not go off cap rates. We do not go off, ROIs. We go off IRRs, Yes, it's called an internal rate of return for a reason, because we're expecting certain type of return on our money year over year over year, compounded for the period of time that we're going to hold on to it.
Yep.
But hey, who am I, right? Just
in taking my MBA, I got to go through the finance, and I know how the IRR is manually calculated instead of just using it in Excel. And the MBA has helped me a lot in understanding what I already functionally did in real estate. Mm-hmm. But yours was especially in real estate development at Georgetown, right?
Yeah. And believe it or not, it's not just the education; it's the network. People downplay education so much in the real estate community, especially. And sit there, it's like, I mean, I'm excuse when I put it in these terms, I'm dumbfounded. Because what you learn on the street is different from what you learn in academia. Believe it or not, what I learned at HUD, nobody can teach you on the street. I can never get it. It's impossible.
Right.
And that's what made me who I am right now.
Now, the MBA, how did that change how you did business and who you did business with before, pre-MBA and post-MBA?
So, Georgetown, see, I could have done the MBA here at USC. I decided Georgetown because it took me out of my comfort zone. Mm-hmm. I could do it here locally in a local university, UCLA, USC, But I realized
it's a good school,
great schools, all of them, right? But they would have focused on local assets, which I already know. I wanted to have a different perspective of real estate. Mm-hmm. And Georgetown gave me that perspective. Now, here's the thing: the difference between Georgetown and the universities here, they teach you how public policy plays a role in your business cycle. And a lot of people are not taught that element, and I always tell people, like, I use HUD as an example all the time, Greg. The reason being because what I learned at that level is the mindset of government policies are focused on helping the masses, not the select few, right? So,
Right.
so we have to look at it from that their role is not to just help us make money. Their role is to help the economy as a whole grow organically and make sure more people succeed.
And they're willing to take casualties along the way
Yeah,
on all policies, all public policies. So you have, people are going to die. They really don't care that there are deaths. It's just a matter of how do we minimize it
yeah,
and move it around in different segments. And
yeah.
it can be a very crass way to look at things. But
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I debate about public policy all the time, man. And the funniest thing is we as business owners, our job is profit driven, right? Government's job is not profit driven. You know, it's our mindsets are totally different. So we as business owners, we look at the crafted policy and we say, well, hey, oh wow, I don't like it because it's going to make me work harder for my money. I don't like it because, oh, I'm going to get taxed a little bit more. Oh, I don't like it. Oh man, you're tying my hands. Well, what resulted in that happening, right? And I look back in the 40 years, we had easy money and then we had the savings and loan crash, right? We had easy money and we had the 2008 financial crash. And we're getting easy money now. What's going to happen? Do you think it's going to be different? No, it's going to get worse. And history tends to repeat itself.
Yeah. Now, what about inflation? The government has been pumping money into the economy for literally decades, and they're getting diminishing returns. At some point, they're going to put money in, they can't get a return, and then inflation is going to just hit us really hard.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see that as a future problem?
No, oh yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the problem. In the last 12, 15 years, U.S. government has printed and pumped in over $10 trillion in money to prop up the economy. Everything that we see right now is not because everybody's doing great and it's hunky-dory. It's the government flooding the market with capital, cheap money, and government spending, right?
Right.
So at a point, okay, so the way we're spending almost $500 billion in interest alone, right? And at a point, all of this is going to catch up. Yes,
Right.
but I want people to understand government is a little different because they create the monetary elements, right? They create the fiat paper, We're just pawns on a chessboard being moved, right? At the end, as long as they can keep on printing money, we'll be fine, But we should never look at it like that's the right approach, What's going to happen? Interest rates will grow back up, but what's going to get worse is we're going to see growth in taxes. There's no longer going to be these tax cuts. At a point, government is going to step in. Hey guys, everybody pay their fair share. Everybody, we're going to tax the hell out of you guys because we need to pay off this debt. When is that going to happen? Is the biggest. That's truly the billion-dollar question, or in this case, the trillion-dollar question, right?
Right.
And it needs to happen soon. That's my take.
That's scary. It kills our business as developers, but that's what has to happen.
Yeah.
And so that, to me, that says that I need to be owning if inflation-adjusted assets, whether it's gold and silver or real estate. Those are the ones that have to happen. What's your opinion on that?
I totally agree with you 100%. I prefer real estate. Melting down gold, it kind of burns me. I'm not I go to India and I'll have somebody melt it down for me, right? That's fun. Over here it's a lot different. It's I prefer real estate. I prefer to take a major risk now, build up the asset class, because I have a hybrid products. I work in residential. I have a 3-tiered approach, and every one of my investors know it. Short-term, mid-term, long-term, right? I'm going to invest in real estate, and with the hope that, when inflation does kick in, that my cash flow is going to be strong enough, my asset is going to be strong enough that I could weather the storm, And believe it or not, with real estate, I'm not so worried.
Right.
So
now you've got some advantages that other people have not had because your family's in real estate. You've got an uncle and your parents that are property managers, and so that's. I would say you've got an advantage, but he didn't give you a golden spoon. You had to work for your family.
Oh, my family, 4 generations. We're in big tobacco in India, right?
Right.
One thing that every generation did was you don't get a dime from them. You work and you get paid based on what you work, right? Now, what you gain, the goal is me as an individual. If I can't sustain myself, I'm going to start spending the family wealth, right? They don't want that. No one wants that. They don't want a third generation to blow all their wealth, because typically wealth is lost after 3 generations unless it's protected from the get-go moving forward, right? Because hence you have this whole concept of trust fund babies.
Paris Hilton.
Donald Trump. I mean,
he's only 2nd generation, isn't he?
I think his grandfather was also in it, but not as good as but Fred Trump actually made it better. Donald does fine, but he walked into a lot of wealth, So I mean, in reality, if you look at it from the 90s, the amount of money that he had, he would be richer than Bill Gates now. If he would have invested properly, but he doesn't know how to invest. That's my take on it. But
that'll take us really. That's a sideways conversation. We'll have that over some good food.
Yes, and some beers.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Oh, I didn't expect it to get this intense on the investing, but this is a really good conversation. So deal sources. You're in a brokerage. They like you there at that brokerage, don't they? And
yeah, they do.
They bring you deals. Tell us a little bit about how you position yourself as an expert within the brokerage community at your brokerage firm.
I teach. I teach the mechanics of the deals, how they work, what to do, how to find them, how to underwrite it, and it's important that I teach, not just for myself. Believe it or not, when I first started teaching, I didn't realize the ripple effect of it, of people bringing me deals, right? But I see tremendous value in knowledge, and you and I both always seen it that way, right? And the reason I teach is, one, because there's a void in the brokerage community. They teach you how to sell. They don't teach you the substance needed to be able to what I call knowledge-based sales, not script-based sales, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so deal flow. So, sorry, I know, was I going off on a tangent? Or?
No, and it's all good because people do not value the knowledge that you have to deconstruct a deal and put it back together.
Yeah.
The inexperienced people don't value that, and there are a lot of people that they'll take that knowledge and say, "Oh, now that I know how to do it, I don't need you anymore." They don't value how you helped get them started. And do you see a lot of that with the small investors or first timers?
Yeah, I do. But that's not because I think it's more related to them not knowing the difference than them just being, selfish or greedy. It's just, I think most of them just don't know the difference. They're all like, there's an opportunity, let me run with it, right? But that's how the brokerage community is trained and teach. And I mean, you ever seen those scripts? It's like they become pushy salesmen, right? I mean, I have agents coming to me and pushing me deals. I'm like, dude, one, I'm your friend. Two, I'm a broker. Don't treat me like a schmuck on the street peddling me deals. You know, tell me the brass tacks of the deal, and this is what I want. You know, I think the difference on what I have is because I have a pool of investors that would actually back me. You know, because they know if I underwrite the deal, that hey, it's worth looking at and it's worth investing in. You know,
all good deals get funded if they've got the right management.
Yep, absolutely. Because, you know, hence the reason why good management is the greatest asset of any company. You know, some of the best companies, Apple, Microsoft, any REITs that you see, any opportunity funds that you know, they are well defined because of their ability to manage the key element, manage risk.
And there's always risk, and there are points in time when risk is super high. Like you've been through some downturns, and you now know how to mitigate that risk, but still things can go sideways.
Oh yeah, they can.
And that's just part of the risk. Have you had capital calls on projects before?
Yes. Oh yeah.
How have you managed that? How have the investors responded to a capital call?
So you and I had a capital call.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't a lot. It was a few $1,000s each, but it was still like it was still a cap call. You know, no matter which way. You know.
It's still unpleasant.
Yes, absolutely. How I manage that now, always have a major cushion. You know, I tell my investors, look, it's going to cost us. I'm projecting about $2 million, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're going to invest, I want you to be able to. I want us to budget for 2.5. You know, now I don't need the extra $500,000. I need that. I need you guys to be able to fund it if it's needed. You know, because we don't need it right now. I think we're good at 2 million. You know, now when if there's delays, if there are issues that we need to call additional capital, I will request everybody prorate a share to participate. You know,
basically you've put a liquidity requirement on your investors.
Yeah, every single one of my contracts has it.
Just like the banks do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know, because banks, they have stress tests. You know, they do it. FDIC, the Federal Reserve, does a stress test on the banks themselves, and they in return do stress tests on us. But of course, you know, ours is a lot more tougher to pass. Yes.
Great. So we're coming down to the home stretch here with a couple minutes left. I want to get a little personal with you.
Okay.
You are engaged. You have a fiance.
Yes.
I haven't met her yet. I'm going to. I look forward to that time. But you had a phenomenal proposal planned, and you had to do a little quick thinking on your feet because of what was going on. Tell us a little bit about your proposal story.
So I proposed to her on March 14th. It was probably around, I would say about 6 o'clock in the evening time, right? Now, I already bought the ring about a month and a half ago, before that, you know? Mm-hmm. So her family, friends were always, you know, when we're at these gatherings, they always say, "Oh, you guys, so when are you guys going to get married? When are you guys going to get married?" I shut it down. I was like, "Nope, we're not ready." You know, I could tell she was getting upset. You know, my take on it, I'd rather have her be a little upset. You know, and when the time comes, she'll forgive me. You know, hopefully she said yes. That's the biggest concern, right? But honestly, we work so well together.
Good.
So what we ended up doing is our birthdays are about 2 weeks apart. We decided to take off to Europe. So we landed in Madrid in the heart of the COVID virus. We decided to get a car instead of Uh, it was a Jeep, actually. It was a pretty cool Jeep. And landed in Madrid, stayed there for a day or so, drove to Bordeaux, which was in France, and then Paris, and we're supposed to come back, and we're going to do like Barcelona, go to Porto, and then go back to Madrid and fly back. When we got to Paris, so neither one of us been to Paris. You know, her thing was she wanted to go with somebody that she loved, you know, and I could tell that she was getting a little, when we were getting closer, she could see the Eiffel Tower. She was like really getting happy about it. So when we got to the front desk was like, look, we're shutting down. Tomorrow, everything is going to be shut down here. If you want to do anything, tonight's the night. And I'm like, oh, damn. You know, I was like, okay, so we're going to make it happen. So I was like, babe, let's get ready. Let's dress up. Let's walk over to the Eiffel Tower, go check it out, and go grab something to eat. That's when I proposed in front of the Eiffel Tower. No one was around except a few people walking around, so I was able to get somebody to take a picture of us. Caught her off surprise. So I wouldn't say I would throw it in her face, but I always tell her, "You got a lot of brownie points, huh?" So so how much can I screw up? Like,
Yeah.
Not enough.
Well, that's fantastic. So we got to wrap this up. I like to keep this about a half hour. The ending question is, what should I have asked you that I did not? So this is your final question, then we'll end it.
Markets, the past, the present, the future. You know, future is uncertain right now, right? Mm-hmm. You know, residential market is hot, but we've seen this happen in 2005, 2006.
Yes.
You know, don't assume that because it's all backed by the feds. It's not market driven, it's Fed driven right now. Commercial, you know, I think, you know, number of sectors lost a lot of jobs. What was it? Like manufacturing, construction, trade lost anywhere from 13 to 25% in the job market. Office, hospitality, of course, too. You know, so we're going to see opportunities, not this year, but next year, coming about. You as a real estate professional, get ready, get yourself educated, because I'm going to tell you, if you're not ready for the downside, that means you're not going to survive, because only the strong survive the downside. Everybody survives the upside. It's easy to make money when things are going hunky-dory because there's no risk. Downside, it comes down to skill. Yeah, that's what keeps you surviving. That's how you and I survive.
Yep.
You know?
Scrapping it out.
Yeah. You know, and to be honest, you know, you and I need to actually get together and talk, because I need another mechanic.
Okay. We'll definitely do that. So I'll end on that. I'm pleased that you want to work with me again now that you've got your big master's in real estate development. But yeah, how many people from before your master's and after your master's do you work with the same people?
So on the sales team, there's only 4 or 5 of us. One thing I could 100% tell you, they're very dependable. We work well together. There's a synergy. Mm-hmm. That's important. There's things that not all of us are good at everything. You know, our team structure is set up in a way where we provide support. We build off their strengths, and they support our weaknesses. Right? And we share it. We share in all the deals. It's not just my deal is my deal and your deal, oh, well, if you get it, you get it. It doesn't work that way, you know?
Same way that the big commercial teams work.
Yep, exactly. You know, and that's how I have it structured. On the construction side, I have a few people that I work with that are really, really good, project-based. On the development side, the same thing. I'm debating on hiring a actual in-house planner soon. Somebody that has an urban planning degree, educated and have experience. I'm also planning on hiring a full-time project manager that have a good amount of construction experience and actually have a full construction background that actually put the hammer to the nail type of scenario. Yeah. So the team is good.
Well,
I'm
great.
happy,
Well, I do. We're 5 minutes over, so I do need to cut you off, Pavan.
Okay.
I know we're going to have more conversations again. I'll head up to your way. I've got a break in classes in about 2 weeks, so we'll schedule some time. But thanks everybody for joining us. And if you want to get a hold of Pavan, he's a great guy that does deals. That can teach you some things. He teaches classes, and we'll see if we can get you hooked up with getting educated. Thank you very much, Pavan.
One thing, Greg, we should teach a class together.
Okay.
Because you and I are you're as analytical as me, and there's certain things that you taught me, especially when, back in the days. I would love to figure out a way that we could combine our forces and teach some commercial finance class or whatever, just food for thought.
That will be good. We will do that.
Perfect. Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Very welcome.
And we'll do this again.
We are, but it's going to involve food.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna make you eat some spicy food.
Okay. It's good. All right, we're done. Thank you everybody for joining us, and maybe we'll do these again. We're doing 4 sessions right now with the expert exchange, and this is the 4th one, and we'll probably do another series in the future. Take care. Good night.
Thank you, guys.